Hello again, it's great to see you. Today we're here at Our Lady of Mount Carmel in Carmel, Indiana, one of the southernmost parishes in the Diocese of Lafayette, Indiana. We were asked a number of years ago to come and help with the parish as they helped vision and consider what they could do to improve their space for worship. The building, as you'll see as we walk through, is and was quite a challenge. There really was no central focus. And so we felt that after a conversation that was supported with design, samples, refinements, we got to a level of consensus with the community. And 2 or 3 very important things came forward: that we should improve the center aisle and clarify it as the center aisle by changing the materials being used and the size of the materials being used. And then to as well create in the sanctuary an overall backdrop that clarified that this area of the church was different. And so not only did we paint the walls after they were drywalled, but then we created a frame for the 3 main objects in the sanctuary. That being a frame for the altar, a frame for the tabernacle, and then a frame for the ambo. Each of those frames being created in mosaic. As we get closer, we'll go through some of those details in those mosaics so that they were an overall unified group of mosaics, but that each area was being treated differently because there were different things taking place in each area. So if you'll come with me now, I'll come and bring us up into the sanctuary. So as we spoke about creating a center aisle, there's the warm botticino that is framed by the stronger off-red rojo alicante that leads us from the entrance of the church up to the sanctuary with a culmination at the head of the aisle so that we delineate this sanctuary space as special. So as is often the case with projects, we at Rambusch are often given a point of departure, whether it be design, whether it be material, whether it be something that pre-exists. In the case of Our Lady of Mount Carmel here, there were 3 pieces of patrimony that were important to them, the community, to maintain and integrate as we created a new set of furnishings. That was the mensa of the altar, that was the ambo, and then that was as well then the tabernacle itself. So the mensa of the altar was clear, and so we needed to make a new base for the altar. That base took its details, its materials, its colors from the ambo as the pre-existing piece. And so the column capitals, the pilasters, the materials chosen were then carried over to sync with and connect to the ambo as the new base for the altar. And then as we designed the base for the tabernacle stand, that same approach was handled. Details of columns, pilasters, capitals, bases, materials chosen, so that as the overall grouping of furnishings read as one, even though each furnishing has a different activity. The ambo for the proclamation of the word, the altar for the breaking of the bread, and the tabernacle for the enshrinement of the Eucharist outside of Mass. So here we are at the tabernacle. The reuse of the tabernacle itself was important as patrimony of the parish. It also was important for the community to mark the pedestal of the tabernacle by integrating the iconography of wheat and grapes as a reference of what is here in the tabernacle. So the challenge in many spaces is how do we elegantly and appropriately place items so that they follow the desire of the community. In the case of Our Lady of Mount Carmel, through dialogue and conversation and consensus, it was determined that this location for the tabernacle and its frame was the most appropriate for this architectural space. It allows for there to be someone present within 10 feet of the tabernacle. Although there is a place of prominence and reverence, it is not centrally located. However, we felt, as did the community, that the accessibility for prayer and presence and time with the tabernacle was more important in all cases. This project was submitted to the Diocesan Liturgical Commission and then eventually to the bishop, all of whom approved these plans. And in fact, we're very happy to see that there had been so many other considerations that when we came to this as the solution, it was one that had been considered and was the most appropriate. Thank you so very much for spending time with me as I've had the pleasure to walk you through this very exciting project here at Our Lady of Mount Carmel in Carmel, Indiana. Rambusch was involved in the design development of the sanctuary, the furnishings, the artwork, the lighting system, and was part of the conversation that helped to delineate the centrality of the aisle leading to this wonderful sanctuary space, and as well with a very simple but very strong resolution to treat the walls and ceiling of this sanctuary space differently so that there is a focus as people come here to pray and worship as a community. Thank you so very much. We'd be delighted to help you with any projects you might have, large and small. We're at rambusch.com, which is where you're watching this now. You can send us an email or you could call us. There's nothing wrong with the phone. Have a great day and thank you so very much for your interest. Bye-bye.